class. It's Armando here, discussing Chapter 5 and the debate on whether we would want Frank Lloyd Wright or Franco Gehry to design our houses, two heavyweights in the American architecture scene. If I had to choose between Lloyd Wright or O. Gehry, I would have to go with Frank Lloyd Wright. Let me start off by saying why I wouldn't go with Frank O. Gehry. So this guy was an awesome architect because he had a very unique vision for his architecture. More of like an artist really, because like he took a lot of liberties with his designs. Like he would, like for example, that is the Walt Disney Symphony Orchestra place. I forget what it's called, I'm sorry, and it's like in Los Angeles. And as you can see, it's a really interesting, bizarre looking building, but it looks really cool. Although, the reason I wouldn't pick Frank O. Gehry to design my house is because, you can take your artistic liberties with some things, but not with my house. Like, I'm not trying to have my house look like that. Some people might have a different idea of what their house might look like, but that's not what I want my house to look like. Not to say he would make it look like that, but he has a very unique style of designing. Franco Gehry was known to randomly put chain link fences and fish statues wherever he pleased. Like he would just randomly put stuff just for the sake of art. In fact, this picture we're looking at right now, this Walt Disney Symphony place, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that the curves of that steel make it so that it's like a death ray, and like at certain times of the day when the sun is setting, the sun will reflect off of that metal and create like a death ray in the middle of the street, and it'll be like blazing hot wherever the reflection of the sun is like landed. So, while it looks awesome, sometimes that those artistic extra stuff just it comes at a price. With that being said, so he's more of like the Dionysian architect. This is Frank Lloyd Wright. Notice first of all that he's not flicking his all off, and I'd consider him more to be the Apollonian of the two. He takes a more logical approach to designing his buildings. In fact, this was a house that he designed. It's called Falling Water, and I think it's awesome. Whereas O. Gehry was more excessive for the sake of art form, Lloyd Wright was more conservative, but the results were awesome because Frank Lloyd Wright would combine the natural world around him into his designs. This building is actually a really good example of that. He basically built a house on a cliffside next to a waterfall. And this is a really good example because instead of tearing down a tree to build a house, he built the house around the tree, which I think is awesome, especially in this day and age where we need to take care of our environment more than ever. So I think his architecture style is really relevant. And I think our society needs more nature in it as opposed to less. So if I had to pick someone to build my house, in fact, if I had to pick a house, I'd probably pick this one. It's really cool.